Hello, greetings everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Plug the Contact Center Brain Drain. On this session, Optanix and our partner, CSPeech-Soft Solutions, will be discussing what's driving the current brain drain in the Cisco UCCE space, and also providing some solutions for how you can overcome this brain drain to assure and optimize your UCCE deployments. My name is Robert Waters. I'm in the marketing department here at Optanix, and I'm going to kick things off today. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping items. First off, all attendees are on mute, so you can hear us, but we can't hear you. Because of that, if you have any questions during the session, go ahead and submit them via the questions box of GoToWebinar, and we'll cover them at the end during a dedicated Q&A session. And if you have any questions after the session, feel free to email me right at robert.waters@optanix.com, and I'll be happy to help you out. And now that we've got that housekeeping stuff out of the way, I'd like to go ahead and introduce you to today's presenters. First up will be Scott Olivier. He is Vice President of Sales for CSPeech-Soft Solutions. And joining Scott today is Mike O'Malley, Chief Marketing Officer at Optanix. And with that, I will go ahead and turn things over to Scott.
Thanks, Robert. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Hopefully, everybody is safe and free from the virus and getting used to our new social norms, which is quite a challenge. So just a few seconds on SpeechSoft, and you can also go to our website and get all this information. I just want to point out that we have been in the business since 2003. We have 4 locations. Oklahoma is our headquarters. I'm down here in Dallas, Texas. We have an office in outside London, and we have an office in Hyderabad, India, where we have a lot of support and some NOC people. SpeechSoft started off as helping people with IVR, things of this nature, got into the Cisco business and have been producing Cisco solutions for quite a while. So we have day 2 and 1 support. We have quite a few UCC automation tools we'll talk a little bit about today. And we have a lot of IVR, natural language, things of that nature. So we are a certified Optanix partner. So with that, Mike, if you could tell us a little bit about your group.
Hi, so this is Mike O'Malley. Optanix is a technology and a managed services provider. We support some of the most demanding environments in the world with our solution. And we have 300 employees headquartered in New York, but with a large network operations center in Syracuse, New York, as well as presence in North Carolina and remote staff across North America. We started as a managed services provider, but over the past 2 years, have been working to productize the patented technology in the Optanix Service Assurance Platform. It's the comprehensive tool we use to manage customer environments, and we offer it for partners and large enterprise customers. Finally, we are a partner-first company. Our go-to-market strategy is focused on making our partners successful in delivering Optanix product and services to their end clients. So because we've got a managed services business, so we know how important it is to have the right talent working on voice, video, data network environments. We pride ourselves on hiring seasoned experts, as well as, importantly, developing valuable skill sets from within our ranks. Optanix engineers hold more than 200 industry and vendor certs, and we've got a strong focus on the Cisco ecosystem, but also have certs in other key vendors. The company's audited regularly for security, systems and controls, as well as adherence to privacy laws, especially around healthcare. Along with SpeechSoft certifications as Twilio and Inference partner, we are able to offer expertise through the full application stack, especially in terms of the UCC environment.
I am noticing that there's a lag, probably because of all the heavy home office use, but I think there's about 2 seconds between screens.
Sure. So I'll talk to the IT talent slide and let the internet catch up a little bit. But as this chart shows, it's not just contact centers that are having difficulty filling talent needs. It's across the IT landscape. The figures presented here from the Uptime Institute back in 2018. As you can see, more than a third of those interviewed are having a hard time finding the right person for the open roles in IT, And what's more, nearly a fifth of those that were interviewed said they're having trouble holding on to existing talent. So the bottom line is that it's getting harder to get good people and keep them excited and focused on supporting key business services.
Okay. Did my screen change?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. A little delay here. So, where did all the talent go? Well, the market's changing just like it does every once in a while. We've gone over from a premise-based contact center moving to cloud. Really good engineers are changing their skill sets. So we see very few new people coming into the UCCE space. So the big picture is they're following the money. Other networking skills are in higher demand. They're probably paying more. And UCC is seen as a mature technology with fewer developments. And so what we're seeing is that the brain drain is going to other areas. And so as a result of that, we're struggling. Most customers that we come across, and we manage quite a few, are struggling to keep up with the talent. And keep in mind, a typical contact center, UCC also, you have the voice portion, you have the contact center workflow portion, and you have the back-end integration. So it takes a lot of talent. And so as the talent is getting scarce, what you're seeing at the contact center level is your increased hold times are going crazy. Your average time to answer is going up. Net performance scores are going down. And then one of the important things is that your high agent turnover, especially if these agents are being paid by commissions and things of that nature, it's frustrating for them to be in a contact center and simply not be able to get the calls on time. And don't forget, when they leave, you got to hire and retain, and also the service level penalties that you may be facing if you're doing this as a service.
And on the IT side, the poorly managed or lack of strong talent for UCC environments can really have similar impacts. You can miss SLAs, drop calls, call quality, call routing mistakes. You can actually have disruptions or outages. It would, obviously create agent availability issues. And the bottom, the bottom line is the most important. It creates loss of revenue. You've got, aside from customer satisfaction issues and potential loss of customers, you're losing missed opportunities. Many call centers are using an interaction as an opportunity to upsell or cross-sell a product, and you're missing out on that kind of revenue.
So one of the big issues that we find with the UCC is that when it's not fully utilized, obviously you're not getting your full value. So we're finding that we're going to talk to customers that have invested that $4 or $5 million into the UCC system. They're not using it as much as 60% of the features that are offered in these new releases. And as a result of that, we have a lot of senior managers go, let's go to the cloud. Let's go to the cloud. It's got to be better. Well, you're just showing it. Your ROI is off simply because you're not using it. At this point, other folks within your organization are second guessing your decisions, and you're not utilizing all of the features and functions. So that turns into just a simple lack of confidence in the contact center. So as you lose resources to help you utilize your contact center, you're not getting the full opportunity. So your opportunity loss, when you start going into a migration, migrations take multi-years. Keep in mind those contact centers, the premise-based ones, have been in place for years. They're hooked up to back-end systems, workflows. So migration is probably not the best opportunity because you have a lack of resources. And there we go. So, did we change screens?
There we go. So, how do you solve for this lack of skilled workers in UC space, which is the title of the webinar? And whether you want to keep managing the UCC environment yourself, get help from a partner, or completely outsource care and feeding of the UCC infrastructure, we've got a couple of suggestions. First, you want to be using tools that make your UCC infrastructure more available and performant, and from the network to the handset. There are a number of tools in the market. Only a few have been built from the ground up to handle UCCE, and still fewer give you visibility and insight into UCC environments in a context of a larger IT infrastructure. Second, if you're looking for an outside partner, make sure they have the right accreditations. This way you know they're up to date on the technology, have a strong working knowledge of these environments and how to manage and optimize them. Third, make sure your in-house hires or external partners have deep experience in the technology. UCC deployments are all unique. Having a single expert with experience in multiple UCC deployments can be far more effective than having several employees with just some experience in place. And you want folks who are familiar with not just the technology of a UCC deployment, but those technologies in and around UCCE integrations and management and optimizations that can really improve the performance there. And finally, you're going to need to make sure your frontline folks are just as nimble and ready for change as the I&O team. And I'm going to hand it over to Scott on that.
Yeah, just an example, agent reskilling. Agent reskilling, UCC is a little cumbersome with native tools. That's a true statement with some of the other big players. So as SpeechSoft has grown up in this industry, we have been solving these problems by coming up with our own tools. An example, one of the 3 or 4 tools that we offer is agent reskilling. Agent reskilling it takes a lot of time, so it helps you for proactive staffing, better alignment with the caller. Somebody called in and wanted to talk to an insurance agent that was from Montana. Was that agent skilled for Montana? Well, it's important that we do those things and be able to turn on a dime. In addition to that, you also have to audit that type of tracking and basically get situational configuration. So, did the slide change?
Yep.
Okay, good. I can tell it's lagging. So, that's the problem with reskilling. Number one is that you have to have a lot of people that do reskilling. And the native tools that are currently used are error prone. It's basically typing and pulling agent skills. And then you usually have a team lead that does most of their time doing reskilling. And so we have one customer that does home health care, and they have 40 people doing reskilling because of the technical nature of getting a caller to a nurse that has pediatric or elderly care, and I guess these days virus information. So if you can imagine, they have 40 people skilling for the home health care business. So by putting our tool in, we were able to cut that almost in half of the supervisors, and I'll show you some stats here in a second. But so our solution is unique. It goes on top of the existing native tools. It runs off the APIs. It's non-obtrusive, and it automates the agent profiles across teams, lines of business, things of that nature. Handles hours of operation. If you can imagine reskilling hours of operation, if your operation is following the sun from east to west. And then one unique thing, and we down here in Dallas, we always get these notifications that you got a Class 5 tornado heading down on you. How do you shut down that contact center? Well, we literally have an emergency button. I mean, exactly, it's a button, or it could be, or it's on the supervisor's PC. We literally can hit that. All agents go back to a set state, so calls coming in will be treated properly, and or all calls coming in would go to another contact center. So we've automated that process, and if my screen has changed, you'll see some numbers coming up here that speak for themselves. And we're taking the extreme case of the last one, 10 skills for 100,000 agents. By the native standards, it's 9 hours of work, and a lot of that is keying it in and then hitting it and letting it run. And then later, as you can see, we've got an hour's work on ours, and it's a situation where you simply just fire and leave it. And so it's built in a manner that it's very hard to make mistakes. but we need a good platform to manage that. And so, Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about your platform?
And there's a mute button involved. For more than a decade, Optanix has been in the business of providing service assurance for contact center and UC environments. The managed services side of things is powered by skilled people, some deep expertise, well-learned processes and lessons, and of course, the Optanix platform. So platform was built from the ground up for contact center infrastructure management and provides what we call full stack monitoring. It means we can discover, monitor, manage all the elements that contribute to delivery of contact center service, from the underlying network infrastructure to call routing and control to application servers in different types of services you can tap into, to the endpoints themselves. This notion of full stack monitoring also involves offering multiple types of functionality. So there is sort of the IT infrastructure management capability, but there's also network performance monitoring, as well as business service impact awareness. And it's within a single integrated tool. Provides deep understanding of UCC deployments, but in the context of a larger IT infrastructure. And as I mentioned, we're a partner first company. So while we offer our own remote managed services, which are often rebranded by our partners, we also offer the platform on a standalone basis to those partners and customers that want to deliver services themselves. You can switch.
Yes,
there you go.
Just
I wonder why. It seems like everyone's working from home today. At Optanix, we realized a while ago that existing IT, because we're a managed services provider ourselves, we realized that existing tools were really insufficient for effectively assuring UCC instances. So we started to build our own. And while we realized point tools can help, there's limitations involved with regard to integration, root cause analysis, and the ability to provide a service-centric view into critical applications like UCCE. So the Optanix platform, we do auto discovery of UCC services on an ongoing basis. We provide comprehensive visibility with specific dashboards and reports geared towards UCCE, and actually include a UCC serviceability portal in the product, which allows you to see everything about the UCC environment, understand it, and make changes quickly and easily in case of either business changes or in response to a problem. The platform also offers an ICM script tool, which shows a graphical representation of call flow in a call center, plus any changes that have occurred, and enables better planning, and also significantly reduces troubleshooting when problems do occur. Most important, though, as I've mentioned, is the UCC features are all integrated into the rest of the platform. So it's especially important for this to occur in converged IP environments, where the application, the OS, the network all play into quality user experience and voice or video. And the performance or availability problem anywhere in the system can create a poor user experience. So it's critical to understand, intelligently detect problems both within and outside of the UCCE environment that impact UCCE operations, and find their root cause, and also understand the business impact. Optanix and SpeechSoft have a joint customer. Customer is a global leader in payment processing, manages over 31 transactions each day across 150 countries. And they handle tens of thousands of merchant inquiries a day, and they do it through 12 globally distributed contact centers running UCCE. Company faced challenges in terms of underlying issues with infrastructure performance and availability that were affecting their ability to service customer requests. And the customer wanted more visibility into the operational infrastructure, and it wasn't able to get that with its existing approach. And so Optanix and SpeechSoft approached the customer with a plan to provide contact center availability, performance, along with application design and tuning services from SpeechSoft. And as a result, we took over the UCCE estate, improved service to the point that the company actually decided to move other portions of the non-UCCE estate onto our management.
All right. Well, thank you. It's kind of on a personal note. I spent over a decade with Cisco as the general manager of the contact center business. And every time I ran into a large contact center that was having any troubles whatsoever on various things, and keep in mind that was a decade ago, I would simply go to Optanix at the time, their parent company, and I would have our advanced people put in the Optanix solution so we'd have a full picture. I since then went to work for them. It's been a decade with them, and now my new job, I've been here a couple of years now, it's at SpeechSoft. The first thing I did was get with my friends here, all these guys I've been working with a long time. I don't like selling UCCE contact center or taking over the support of one without this tool. So the market's changing. This is a very solid solution that allows you to utilize your current environment, fill the gaps you have, and don't throw out the baby with the bathwater because the cloud looks a little sexier than it is. So right now we're offering obviously gap services. We have staff augmentation. We have the monitoring tools, and we have the productivity tools such as RESKILLING, and we have a few others that you can find them on our website. So we're partnering with Optanix. We have a world-class solution for monitoring, and we have a lot of experience, very deep bench around UCCE on the voice side, the infrastructure side, and a whole full stack of helping you maintain your UCCE platform. And at some point, you may want to move that to the Cisco cloud. We also offer that services. But remember, the migrations, jumping ship, it's a lot more difficult than it appears. There's been 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of work put into your contact center, and I think we can help with you with taking care of those assets. And then if there's a migration in your future, I think we're positioned for that. So I think if we have any questions, I think, Robert, we've got to put those in the chat window. Is that correct?
You got it. I'm taking them in via the chat. And yeah, if any attendees have them, please enter them there. And we do already have a handful. And I'll go ahead and read those off. And okay. FYI to our attendees, in addition to Mike and Scott, we have some others waiting in the wings to answer questions if needed. So you may hear some unfamiliar voices. So let's see. All right, the first question is, if UCCE talent is so hard to find, where do you find yours?
I'll take that.
Well, I guess.
Go ahead.
Good idea. No, go. You go, and I'll probably add to it.
At Optanix, we, obviously we're out there looking for UCC talent as well as many. But one of the things that we do is we try to build within our own ranks. So a lot of our level 3 engineers and experts and engineers, the development engineers, started out as frontline folks in our NOC and progressed through a series of education and training, and are now have grown up with the company and with UCCE. So we find a lot of that in the Optanix family.
Yeah, and they also made me sign an agreement that I wouldn't try to hire them. SpeechSoft has quite a deep bench of these folks, and keep in mind, I think I mentioned I was at Cisco for well over a decade, and we hired the right people, and we also take in the younger ones and train them. So we've got a pretty deep bench, and so we're always scrambling to find new people. But I think that we offer the compensation and the opportunities to grow within SpeechSoft. So I think that's how we're solving that problem. And I know where all the bodies are buried.
All right, it looks like we actually have a follow-up question to that one, which is, do you also supply any UCCE training for those of us that are admins at our company?
Absolutely. We have a couple flavors of that. Obviously UCCE encompasses about 4 or 5 technologies. So we do about 90% of our training ourselves with our engineers, and they're pretty good at it. I prefer these days, obviously, to do it on WebEx, but we have that. And then I do have a relationship with a couple training companies if I get in a little too deep or time-wise. So we do have an option for complete training end-to-end, and more than happy to share some details with you at a later time.
Sure. And another question tacked on there is just scripting. So I think they're looking whether there's training around scripting.
Yeah. I do a tremendous amount of scripting, and I would say off the top of my head, I got at least 4 scripters here in the States, and I know I've got more than I can count in our Indian office in Hyderabad. So one of the things that SpeechSoft does is we are also a partner to partner. So if you look at all the bigger Cisco partners, we have relationships with them, and one of the reasons our business on that end is growing is the brain drain. So we'll get one of the big companies, including Cisco, come to us and say, I need a scripter for XYZ. So I have quite a bit of that, and we probably do about 20 or 30% of our overall company business is scripting, fixing. In addition to that, we also have some tools that analyze some of the voice scripts and things of that nature to help us quickly identify problems, especially around natural language, things of that nature. We have some tools that optimize that, and so we come in and do voice tuning, things of that nature, and it's very quick and it's very accurate. So hope that answered your question.
Good. All right. Some others coming in. This one is for Optanix. Which versions of UCCE does Optanix support?
So Optanix supports up to version 12 right now, and I will ask Dan Martin to hop in just to keep me honest there and talk about what plans we have for the next month or two.
Yeah, that's correct, Mike. We're going to be releasing our MVP piece for the 12X strain coming out here over the course of the next month. It's been in testing for some time now, but we have been, of course, are good up through the 11 versions of both UCCE and in UC.
Perfect. All right, looking through the submissions here, looks like a SpeechSoft. In regard to agent reskilling, how long does it take to configure and install, and will I lose my native tools for reskilling agents?
In reverse order, you will not lose your native tools. The reskilling tool hits on the existing Cisco APIs. The installation of the actual platform is probably hours. Where you spend some time is understanding what your current configurations are, how you're building your teams, how your current workflow is. So that just comes down to interviews and spreadsheets. You can't get away from that. And so we'll do a full installation of a very large contact center. It'll probably take anywhere from 5 to 10 days. And then, of course, there's the user testing and things in the training. So we could be up and running Reskiller probably inside of 30 days. There weren't too many bottlenecks.
Beautiful. All right. Another question here. You mentioned a voice reporting tool. Would the tool help in identifying problems in CVP/IVR scripts?
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly what it's designed to do. The tool watches the call at all levels. And instead of having a phone call, or a complaint that somebody says, hey, I keep getting dropped at this place right here, on this prompt. So you have a graphical representation. It shows you where it's dropped, and of course you set the parameters, and if there's more than X amount of calls dropping, or they drop quickly, or there's some anomaly, you will receive a notification. So there's 2 portions of that: the dashboard, which you see real time, and then we can generate an email or whatever kind of message you want to say there's a problem on the script. Matter of fact, when we sell a large voice recognition natural language. We really don't like to sell the service, the product without the service, because you spend millions of dollars on natural language, and if you're not monitoring it and you're not tuning it, you're wasting your money. The ROI is not there. So this is a tool designed to preserve that ROI and provide very detailed reporting on the CVP call flows. And by the way, it also works on other IVR besides CVP.
Great. All right, we're running up on time here, but we got no. Let's try to get one more in. So it's, if I do decide to move to the cloud, does Optanix allow me to support both environments?
Well, let me take the first stab, and then obviously the Optanix people. When you move to the cloud, you still have to support what's on-prem or what's on your remote office. And so the answer to that is yes. And then there's always something to manage in the cloud, but I'll let Optanix address that part.
So,
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, so I'll take that one. What I'll say is it depends, right? There's different things as you transition to the cloud and things that you have interaction with or can control. The things that we can do from a monitoring perspective and stuff is look at the individual sessions and things like that, look at the quality of the calls, those types of things. There are going to be some limitations depending upon which, I'll say, cloud flavor or entity that you leverage. To go to the cloud. Different ones have different capabilities and interactions that allow us to, from a diagnostic or interaction standpoint, to interrogate them to understand.
Perfect. All right, thanks, Dan. All right, and we are over time, and that was the last question we have at the moment. So we're going to wrap things up. You can see on your screen now contact info for both Scott and Mike. If you have any more questions, they would be happy to field them, and feel free to get in touch with them for that. And with that, we will go ahead and wrap up today's session. So thank you everyone for joining.
And this recording will be on our website sometime in the near future here?
Yeah, we'll get it out. We'll have it up on the Optanix website. I'll send you a copy to throw up on yours, and we'll make sure we get it out via email to everyone that was here today in case they want to check it out.
Thanks, everybody. Be safe.
Likewise. Have a good one.
Have a good one.